Good evening and welcome to Channel Yemaswati News. My name is Kanyisile Mabuza. Before we start with our news bulletin, let's take a look at our top stories making headlines this half an hour. His Excellency the Right Honorable Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini today was part of the last and final day of the retreat and capacity building workshop for members of the House of Assembly. Police today shot 2 suspects dead after they were caught red-handed stealing copper wire and tried to escape from the police. And finally, a 3-year-old pastor's son was burnt to death when their family house caught fire last night at Luve. Before we continue with our news bulletin, viewers at home, I'd like to reiterate the message that we have just seen from the Ministry of Health, the National Disaster Management Agency, sponsored by ESWATINI. It encourages all Yemaswati to ensure that they observe all the basic protocols put in place to fight against the spread of COVID-19. And now we shall get into our news in detail. Today was the third and final day of the retreat and capacity building workshop for members of the House of Assembly held at the ESWATINI Revenue Authority Auditorium. Today, the Prime Minister, His Excellency the Right Honorable Cleopas Dlamini, was part of this function where he spoke about arson attacks on government property located in communities countrywide. He stated that this takes back all the efforts of improving service delivery and also decentralization. We have a report. Today marks day 3 of the retreat and capacity building of the House of Assembly and the Commonwealth Secretariat. It was all about decentralization today as the Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom was present. His Excellency the Right Honorable Prime Minister urged members of Parliament to plead with people in different constituencies to stop burning tingundla, centers, schools and other structures. He mentioned that burning structures will not solve anything as it will be the contributing factor to unemployment.
Vele kutayibuyisela emuva le development. Tikolwa letinye titemaklasi akuphelele bo science laboratories sekuyashiswa. Akuno solve lutho lokho ukuthi asibuyisele emuva. So sekungaba kuphathisa nje ukuthi bahlonishwa abakhulume nabo against lokwentekako ukuthi ngeke nithi nifuna iservice delivery. Kepha nibe destroy some of the services, and employment ngathi ukuthi is a very big concern. But now ukhuluma nge-employment, ukhuluma ngebusiness yemuntu. Ikhona le yakahulumende employment, but it's not the ideal employment. The ideal employment ngeke ukuthi silanze emafirm ebantu akamane etelato ucala imisebenzi.
Different members of parliament had an opportunity to ask the member of parliament and the Ministry of Tingundla certain questions about development.
Ngiyatibuta ke mina ukuthi nakafika uhulumende nga-2014 esikhuphe baphasikhuphe siyenhle sikhuphe siyasithanda sasimukela kwathiwa no nyalo beningasalime nine ngoba lida ku phase 2 siyanithutha masinyane. Ngicela njalo kuphe mina nantofuna khuda kuleyo nkinga le ningabanga umsindo ngenanda tindlini letinethako netikrekhile nilale
kunini lapho khona mhlawumbe basiyeva la ngaphandle eMaswati asinike ama-petitions kunetindzaba labakhala ngayo. Kunini lapho khona sitawuthola lelithuba eMaswati ake akhulume ukuthi athini.
Indzaba decentralization yinzala. You can't expect us to push imoto lengananjini kusukela 2005 kube ngiyalo solo decentralization policy isendleleni.
Solo ibanjwe yini le bill. Kube netinkinga bahlonishwa njengoba ngishilo sibe ihamba ishayisa ukuthi kunetingoni lebetingasiko kahle lebetingabekeki kahle kule bill.
I am Zandile Mpapane for Channel Yemaswati News, Ezulwini. The Minister for Education and Training, Honorable Lady Howard Mabuza, has announced that schools are going to fully open as of the 11th of October 2021. She stated that the government has observed the COVID-19 situation in the Kingdom of Eswatini and has since seen it fit that all pupils can return to school in order to finish their syllabus. We have a report. The Minister for Education and Training, Honorable Lady Howard Mabuza, today officially announced that on the 11th of October, schools are going to fully be operational in the Kingdom of Eswatini. The Minister stated that this is because upon observing the COVID-19 situation in the country, His Majesty's government decided that it is safe enough for all pupils to return to schools. She also stated that they are going to also make sure that the academic year for the year 2022 is that of a normal school because they are going to finish all their syllabuses in this time left.
ngalendlela lese ifoqiwe njengoba tifundo tethu isyllabus yethu siyakhumbula ukuthi yaseyiyafoqwa yentela kubamba isikhathi lesilahlekile lokho ukuthi asisita ukuthi sikhone ukubhala kahle luhlolo lwethu March 2022 ikhalenda yethu ikhone kuphela school calendar salomnyaka wa 2022 sikhone kuphela December kuze umnyaka wa 2023 utoqala kahle ngaJanuary. Ngicela ukugcugcutela kuthishela nhloko nabo kuthishela nje ukuthi baqhubeke bazame ukuyibamba imithetho ya COVID-19 yize sekunabantwana bonke sebaphelele esikolweni abaqhubeke nje batamembela ukuthi imithetho ya COVID-19 ingathatheleki phansi lokho batawukwenda babambisene nelitiko letempilo akhona ema-teams etempilo latabe alekelelana nabo ngothishela nabothishela nhloko.
The minister stated that His Majesty's government is going to assist the schools in ensuring that they adhere to all the COVID-19 regulations and observe all the COVID-19 protocols. She also encouraged all people who are age eligible to go and get their vaccinations, as well as parents and teachers. I'm Kanyisile Mambuza for Channel Yemaswati News. The Minister for Health, Senator Lizinkosi, has expressed His Majesty's government's utmost appreciation to the American government. The Minister for Education and Training, Honorable Lady Howard, the contribution towards the vaccination process of the Kingdom of Eswatini. She stated that the Pfizer vaccine is going to allow the Kingdom of Eswatini to start vaccinating children from as young as 12 years old. She said this today at the Central Medical Stores in Matapa.
When receiving the doses of Pfizer from the government of America, the Minister of Health in the Kingdom of Eswatini, Senator Lizinkosi, said that as Kingdom of Eswatini, they do appreciate the help that they have been getting from the American people, especially in fighting COVID-19. She further said that this vaccine will greatly assist the Kingdom of Eswatini because Pfizer is eligible from vaccinating people of ages from 12.
Nasi lapha sikhona khona sibukeke ukuthi ke manje sesitawukhona ukuthi sigome njengoba besigoma kusukela eminyakeni leng-18 kuya etulu nyalo sesitawukhona ukuthi sigome bantwana labangaphasi kwale minyaka leng-18 size sifike eminyakeni leng-12. Kubalulekile ke lokho ngoba kuleli gciwane lelikhona lisenalishintsha nalifika la ku-Delta laselicala ligulisa abantwana kakhulu kunaleti khasta ngembili lapha besibheke khona.
The ambassador of the United States of America in the Kingdom of Eswatini, Her Excellency Jean Malone, said that as the government of America, they are delighted that they are doing something for the Kingdom of Eswatini in fighting COVID-19.
The Pfizer vaccine is approved for those aged 12 and above, which increases the eligible population for vaccine by 14% in Eswatini. This vaccine is the product of rigorous testing and has been used under the most intensive safety monitoring in U.S. history, which includes studies in adolescents. I am especially happy that this donation opens vaccine delivery to younger people, which is a game changer.
For Yemaswati Channel, I'm Kerry Carlos, Matapa.
2 men were shot dead at Dwaleni while they were stealing copper. These men were caught red-handed by members of the Royal ESWATINI Police Service, and when they tried to reprimand them, the men tried to flee the scene and they were shot. We have a report.
The 2 men were caught by police stealing copper at Dwaleni. On police arrival, the 2 men are said to have run away, and that is when the police decided to shoot the suspect. According to Police Public Relations Officer Pindile Vilagati, she has asked the public to avoid running away from police, which may lead to them being unintentionally hurt.
lavele angameli nithi amaphoyisa asonzele naseceni kwabo avele adla emponzini. Amaphoyisa ke ende tonke taba ukuthi beme la bekunene batokhulunyiswa emva kokuba sebajike phasi leto tishumba lebe badiphethe lekungamasaka lamabili. Atama ke tonke indlade kubamisa abathusa bavele bagcina babalekile. Lokwendekile ke babe sebayalimala labajala lamabili aphuthunyiswa esibhedlela la afika athi khona dokotela sebashile emhlabeni. Kuthi ke emva kwesikhathi kwaba nemoto lebonakalako ikhona la kulendzawo ingayinga. Nakayikhulumisa ke amaphoyisa kwatfolakala ukuthi cha lomunye vele lobe kahamba nabo la bekunene lebe badola ishale khopha kule moto bese bayoyithengisa. Atfele nato impahla ukuthi bashinje nasebaya khona emarket. Bona vele emacala ekwebiwa kokhopha solo aqhubeke njalo kundlondlobala. Labuyisela kakhulu live emuva njengalokho siyathi ukuthi kuthinzeka bona bogeze kuthinzeka dona indzaba zokuxhumana nalokunye lokufaka ikhathi lokunye kuthinza imphefumulo ngoba tibhedlela tisebenzisa khona nato. Sithi nje asiwekhude kakhulu lo moya noma sathi ukuthi abantu bayidingile imisebenzi kephana ke akusiko ukuthi live ngabe seselibuyiselwa emuva.
Reporting for Yemaswati channel, I am Nonhlanhla Thwala in a report compiled by Gary Carlos at Dwaleni.
Pupils from Manyovu High School in Sipofaneni in the Lubombo region today donned their pens in protest, stating that they are being ill-treated by one of their female teachers. These pupils started the protest yesterday, and even the Lubombo Regional Education Officer has already visited the school. We have a report. Today, at a school located in the Lubombo region at an area called Manyovu, towards St. Philip's by Sipofaneni, pupils of a Manyovu High School today were protesting. These pupils boycotted their classes and demanded that one of their female teachers be suspended from the school. They state that she ill-treats them and they are very unhappy about her presence at the school. They stated that the regional education officer for the Lubombo region came to visit their establishment but did not leave any response to them, and they demanded that they are going to be able to only return to class once they have their responses. I'm Kanyisile Mambuza for Channel Yemaswati News. The report and visuals are from a Channel Yemaswati viewer.
Mani, khumbula ukuthi kuqhawulana nekutsinzana ungathelelana iCovid-19. Qaphela, khumbula ukuthi kubambelana sinatwa engilasini yinye nakho kungathelelana iCovid-19. Ungaqhubeki, khumbula kuvikela labaseceleni kwakho ngekuthindelela ingcosela. Bagcini besive, asende kuhamba ngemigomo ekuvikela iCovid-19. Indlela lensha yethu sonke kuphila kude sitigcine siphephile kanye nesive sonke asikhumbutane njalo ngalesikutshelwa litiko letempilo ngeCovid-19. Asikwende konke, gcoka sifonyo, geza tandla ngensipho nemanti lahambako, gcina umkhathi uphindze ugweme ticubu. Mgcini wesive ungapheli mandla iCovid ingakapheli.
Do it all from the palm of your hand with the Eswatini Ministry of Health Alert app. You can get access to the app by getting the link from the Eswatini Ministry of Health social media pages and by scanning the QR code found on posters. Use the WhatsApp number 79436585 and send hi. Then, following the prompts, you can get to register for your COVID-19 jab. Get the latest updates on COVID-19 and even get access to a healthcare professional. There's so much more at your fingertips with the Eswatini Ministry of Health. Do it all. Vaccinate, wash your hands, and wear a mask.
Breath of Life Church limemetela massive deliverance mhla 9 October eCampus Crusade eMbabane nga-12 kuya ku-2:30 PM. Nawe woda utobona emandla aNkulunkulu agucula impilo yakho. Ungashaya kunati tinombolo lotibonako.
Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. I'd also like to take this opportunity and welcome all of our viewers who have just tuned into channel Yemaswati News. And now we shall continue with our news bulletin. A 3-year-old pastor's child from Louve was burnt to death last night. This follows an event whereby their family house caught a fire. The family is currently pleading for assistance of any sort in order to fix their house and also to bury the child. We have a report.
The 3-year-old boy got burnt to death on Sunday night when his home was on fire while they were sleeping. It is still not clear as to what caused the fire. According to Pastor Bongani Mhlanga, he mentioned that his kids were inside the house sleeping. 4 escaped the fire except for 1. Mhlanga is requesting for assistance from the public since they have been left with no shelter.
Bamemetana kabuhlungu lomunye sotofu satsinele kamelweni sekuyasha ngoba uyalidumbe likhema nje kuphela la ngebhandle silele slide isikhanyise ngagesi bekude nalokuthi kune fault ukuthi gas wambile wasubuya ka uphuma ngale insisi yaphuma sidangalana sitozama ukusithala abantwana ngalana ukuthi lomlilo singawucima kanjani msitena ukuthi ngiyomphela lapha wavela wathi labanye abantwana sibakhokhe sesibakhokha nje sibabita lokuthi bevele liphimbo sibakhiphela ngale sekubhunye egqwele intuthu kanilona ushothi bese wehlela ngala wetangala njengoba unibona bonqukile bese kugcwele nalentuthu lapho nalomlilo lilanga kungasangeneki
Bangakhe bamfana bebangekhathi mfundisi
ushothi la bebalabe bang4 ushothi ukhona usitakala lo 3 base kusala munye ngale bekunathi ngale bese ngiyazama ukuphindze abakhokha ngoba nangaleli langa bese liyangakhona
lo shonile bekangakanani mfundisi
bekana 3 years umfana.
Those that can be able to assist can call 7654 6019 7654 6019. Reporting for Yemaswati channel, I am Nonhlanhla Twala with Gary Carlos at Louve.
It seems as though the riots in the schools in the Kingdom of Eswatini are getting worse by the day. Today's Umbote High School pupils were also protesting and stating that they have various issues with their school. They rioted since the morning today.
The students of Zombote High School at Mtimba today boycotted classes. The students are complaining about different issues that include the food they eat and the school structure. Most of the students said they have tried to voice out some of their concerns, but there has been no difference.
Petition a democratically elected learners representative council. Kwesibili, stop publicity shaming learners. Basihlambalada babite emamakethu assembly babite emaklasini ukuthi sisenda kanjani thina. Ngokuqala lokho lesingakufuni. Kwesibili, la sikole nebantwana basuka egcineni nelive. basuka le ekutheni nje example basuka ekutheni bafika la sikoleni sebalambile sicela ibreakfast la sikoleni bayalala emaklasini bathi nabalala emaklasini siyashaya ukuthi uleleleni abakuthi nekuthini ungagula la sikolweni abakusidi bakuyeke noma uthi uthi imali esibhedlela basikepha bayasithanza kulo mzuzu
nalokushaya sikufundi ukushaya bo12 etibuna
proper and entrances around the school la sikoleni emagede adzabukile siyalima timbuti tingele
bathi nabavala umgwaco wachamuka lo mnyethisha abathi Mr Memo hamba ngemazida lemnyama bathi nabayivala umgwaco basuka lapho ke abantu besikole bayishaya imoto yakhe tishela waseke uyaphaphuleka wase sophuma ugijimisa umfana esikole wagijimisa labantu besikole ngabhusha anasa gijimisa abantu besikole ngabhusha kodwa ke bamba besikole ke bese betala kuye base bayamshaya
esikoleni sahamba saka assembly sathi ngasibeka ka assembly hawu baqala abantu besikole abamemeta labanye bakhala ke ngoba ukuthi emabhonjisi seka badzinile bona sebafuna kudla lokunye bakhala nje ngaloko angadi but sina vele zibafuna ukuthi qalele toy because le covid is affecting
Some of the students expressed they want to go back to class, so they wish the rioting and boycotting of classes can come to an end. Reporting for Yemaswati channel, I am Nonhlanhla Thwala in a report compiled by Gary Carlos at Zomboze High School.
Before we get into our sports, it is worth noting that the 7-year-old child was found later today. And now we shall carry on with our sports news. Today was the official announcement of the new Chief Executive Officer / General Secretary of the ESWATINI Olympics and Commonwealth Games Association. The announcement was made at the Mountain Inn, and this new CEO is Mr. Maxwell Jele. Today, the president of the ESWATINI Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association, Mr. Bomba Mtsetfo, officially announced the new Chief Executive Officer, who is also the Secretary General of the ESWATINI Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association, Mr. Maxwell Jele. His office term is effective as of the 1st of October 2021. They stated that the board has full confidence in Maxwell's abilities to take the institutions to new heights and deliver on the mandate. They also appreciated him for accepting the challenge.
Olympic Committee njengoba besolo sikhuluma ukuthi kufuneka amabhalane besolo sibanjele ngilo vice president kulesikhundla sekuba amabhalane ukuthi ke kube nemisebenzi eminingi sifika ehhovisi lo faka ekhathi ema Olympics lebeka seJapan nabo konke nje lebekwendeka eminyakeni lokungakavami lokuthi libanda lelisha lithi lifike kube kunema games kepha ke siyadiktiza lokho libanda beselo libuka ukuthi litakwenda njani siya recruiter ngayiphi indlela ukuthi sithole amabhalane nalohola i-administration ka-Olympic Committee kepha ke sagcina sesivumelana lokuthi as appoint a vice president kwekuthi kube nguye lothatha isikhundla sa-secretary and lokho kusho ukuthi so wabeke phansi emadomu okuba lisekela la mangameli and lokunye lokutawendeka lokuthi ka tennis association lapha beka ngamele khona lebandla limnike tinyanga letintsatfu ukuthi asonge umsebenzi lo lebekawenta ka-tennis.
Maxwell is described as a seasoned leader and administrator with a rich history in sport and impressive academic qualifications. They stated that he is currently the holder of BIT Sports Leader Award, following numerous years successfully leading the Tennis Association as one of the top sports associations in the country. He is also going to continue on the term that has already started, which is going to run for 4 to 5 years. I'm Kanyisile Mambuza in a report compiled by Kimberly Mavuzo in Babani. And with that, we have come to the inevitable end of our news bulletin. But before we sign out, let's take a look at our top stories making headlines once again. His Excellency the Right Honorable Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini today was part of the last and final day of the retreat and capacity building workshop for members of the House of Assembly. Police today shot 2 suspects dead after they were caught red-handed stealing copper wire and tried to escape from the police. And finally, a 3-year-old pastor's son was burnt to death when their family house caught fire last night at Louvain. Thank you very much for staying with us. I do hope you're going to have a good night. And before I actually sign out, I'd like to remind you about the importance of adhering to all the protocols put in place to fight against the spread of COVID-19 in the Kingdom of Eswatini. I will leave you with a message from the Ministry of Health, National Disaster Management Agency, sponsored by UNICEF. Good night. God bless you.